Happy hump day. It is Wednesday night. It's Ann McMillan coming to you from my kitchen. Let's see if I can just raise this up a touch. I really want you to be able to see what's going on my stove top tonight. One of the things I promised that I was going to do this season now for my lives was give you some really fast meal recipe ideas, as well as some quick snacks for all of you that just want to get dinner on the table really fast, or you've got kids in school, or you're having to teach them remotely this year, all of those kinds of crazy things. So I just thought I'd pop on tonight, and I actually got started before I remembered I should go live with this. So I've only done a couple things, so I'll just give you a quick update. But what I'm doing is, there's really no written recipe for this. I'm just making a really fast, light shrimp and vegetable angel hair pasta. So if you don't want the angel hair pasta, you could easily put this like in a lettuce wrap or something. So what I've done so far that you missed is, first I heated up this pan, which is our 12-inch nonstick stainless steel. By far my favorite for doing things like this, because I want to get a little bit of the fond or the brown things going on underneath. I also have my stock pot with water coming to a boil with my boil over no more on it. So that's all I'm at so far. What I actually did on the skillet is get it hot first, then I put in a tablespoon of olive oil, then I've added the mushrooms, and I need to add 3 cloves of garlic is what we've kind of landed on for this recipe. So just putting the cloves in the garlic press, squeezing it right into the skillet. I use a sharp knife. I think that's faster, but it does come with a little scraping tool too. And then inside, when you open it up, you can just pull out the nice big chunk of skin that is waste that I did not bring. Oh yeah, this is going to be my waste bucket. So we'll put it there, and we'll add the other 2 cloves quick so that this gets to start cooking with the mushrooms for a couple minutes before we do the next step. So we will have this. This is really fast. You could also do it with scallops if your house likes scallops too. But if you've been following along on enough of my lives over the last 6 months now, can you guys believe this? I've been doing this for 6 months, going live. Been with Pampered Chef 29 years, which seems so crazy because I was just starting for a summer to make some extra money. But anyway, you have noticed that I like to talk about where I've bought things and if they're on special. And so that's why we're having shrimp tonight in this recipe, because it is on special. And now I see I have a terrible live example. So I'm going to switch burners, push that to the back in hopes that that will quit disrupting my visual for you guys. And the angel hair pasta, when you use the boil over no more, you never have to take the heat off of high. So it takes like 4 minutes to cook, that's all. So we're not quite ready for that. So mushrooms and garlic are sauteing. I bought shrimp on special. Yes, here in the Midwest we have to buy frozen shrimp, but I always look to buy the really nice size shrimp that are super easy to peel and are already deveined. So that's the size I usually buy for this kind of recipe. And so I'm going to just really quickly peel these shrimp. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to ask you guys a couple favors. Those of you that have already popped on live with me, which I absolutely love, I would love it if you would put in the comments, what is a quick go-to recipe that you just throw together, that you don't really have a recipe written down anywhere for. So if you don't want to do it now, you can wait and do it after our live, but it is really fun to find out what people's go-tos are, and then it gives everybody else some ideas as well. I'm having a heck of a time keeping track of what's going where here. Sorry, I usually work left to right, and I'm reversing it tonight because I'm trying to make sure you guys can see. So that's my bad. I just thawed the frozen shrimp out in cold water so that it was easy to work with. And then, like I said, I buy the easy peel kind because there is a distinct difference if you buy raw shrimp. And so I like the ones that are actually labeled that in the freezer section, and that's usually the ones that you actually find on sale. So I don't know if that's a marketing ploy or what, but anyway. So I'm almost done, and then we'll go on to the next step. So hang with me just a second. If your household doesn't like seafood and you would never put shrimp or scallops in a recipe for them, one other suggestion, or if it's just more economical this week for you, I have had a lot of people tell me that they have created this, because I've talked about it at my live cooking parties and things, that they've created this with chicken also, and it's delicious with chicken as well. And the thing about it though is chicken takes longer to cook than shrimp. So you do have to plan accordingly, and you don't want to cook your pasta too early so that you have pasta done and it's cooling off and your chicken's not anywhere near done yet. So that's something that you'll just want to keep in the back of your mind. So I am going to have two more. Hang with me. Now that we're on the last shrimp piece here, I'm using all kinds of the prep bowls and the measuring bowls here, but so I have this shrimp. You do want to put it in the pan in a single layer. So just find some open space in your skillet, or move the mushrooms and garlic around. I'm going to create some more holes because the garlic and mushrooms are about done. Let me wash my hands off. Okay, so a couple more steps to this. I just turned the temperature up a little bit because I like to very quickly cook my shrimp. Overcooked shrimp is tough, and we don't want any tough shrimp. So I turned it up a little bit to medium now, and I will leave it set on their sides that they're on right now for just a couple minutes. And then we will turn them, and I'll show you what we're going to do with it then as that cooking process is still going on. But it's a fun thing. If you have kids that are home cooking with you too, they can do any of these steps, which makes it really quick. And I do, one thing I will mention, you guys, we have teak, some teak handled spoons, and or different pieces actually. They come in different shapes and things. But see that little, well, I'm not going to say I ever do it, but dang, is that nice to be able to lift up the liquid and see if it's the right thickness, or, you know, maybe I taste it once in a while. Because that's really helpful. And I do like it because it's got a straight edge so I can scrape the bottom, because remember I mentioned I kind of want that fond. I want the flavoring from the things that are searing really quickly. So while that's going, I will just show you that the pasta is back to a boil. There's steam again. So I'm going to not add the pasta until I turn the shrimp over. So I will show you what that does to it. And it looks like we're about ready to turn the shrimp. And 1 more minute it says on my timer. So a couple other things I'll just tell you this week. I'm going live on Wednesday night on Hump Night, because when I was having both of my kids home or extra kids around because they were in activities and things, Wednesday nights, even though there were not school activities, it was a hectic night, because then there was all kinds of other activities that happened on Wednesday night, from church nights. It was actually a fuller schedule sometimes, 4-H meetings, than the regular school nights based on what our kids were involved in. So I think Wednesday nights are a night where you need to be quick. And this is one of those recipes that's quick, but you didn't have to really do anything ahead of time. Like the only prep work I did was cut the mushrooms a little bit, and I cut up a fresh tomato, and I put out the rest of the ingredients for you guys, but you could have just grabbed and gone with this. So, but I'm using the tongs that don't melt. These are the chef's tongs. As you can watch me, as I squeeze, when they're tipped over, they open themselves. Otherwise, you turn them over and they lock themselves. I love these cooking tongs. So now I am flipping each shrimp over. Again, I want them to just stay. I don't want to be stirring these around, because you want that caramelized fond that it is doing with a hot skillet. And then we're going to add the seasonings. Now, for some recipes, this is a different time for when you would have normally added, but we are going to add them right now. And so I just put in the prep bowl, there's a small amount of 4 little things, so you can kind of peek in there. There's some paprika, some basil, some salt, and some red pepper flakes, because we like a little bit of zip. So I am going to just cover each shrimp with a little bit of those seasonings, and I'll try to move the phone or show you here in the skillet just a little bit better. You don't want to miss any of them. Okay, so I have seasoning. I think you guys can peek at that and see. So I have seasoned each piece of shrimp now, and I will let it set there for 1 more minute before we go to make our sauce. And what we're doing, I should put my pasta in. Just angel hair pasta, just a handful, okay? So it's just Gemini, so I'm just putting in a handful. Lift the boiling over or slide it off. Give it a quick stir. I use the pasta fork. Give it a quick stir. Put the lid back on so that it will not ever boil over on your stove. Let's see if I can see how I could adjust this so you guys can see it again. Whoops, didn't mean to stir that. I'll just wait here a second and then be able to move that and show you. Now the other things that we're going to add yet to our shrimp recipe is we're going to do the sauce next. And the reason we're doing the sauce next is because we want the sauce to thicken just a little bit. And then we're going to add the fresh tomatoes at the very end. Now, think of some other things though, you guys. You could easily add fresh asparagus, even diced up broccoli. You could do a lot of different things besides what I'm doing tonight, which is, like fresh spinach would be really good. Just wilt it right at the end. All of those types of things would be very helpful. By the way, here, I forgot to move this. There's a peak at the boil over no more. So it will stay like that, boiling on high. It will never boil off the lid. And then the pasta will be perfectly done. So you gotta love that. All right, now I probably just messed up where the phone is. That's okay, you don't need to see me. You need to see the pan. So next I'm going to scoot these ingredients to the side. Remember, I want all that fond, that brown particles on the bottom. And I'm going to put in some half and half. And I didn't put it all in because you kind of want to test your thickness. How thick do you want your sauce? Next, I'm adding some fresh Parmesan cheese that we grated. And you want to heat that until it starts to bubble everywhere and the cheese starts to melt. So we're going to just let that cook for a minute or two. It does not take long. And I did learn one time I was out of Parmesan, and so I used my, mozzarella, and it worked fine. It wasn't ideal, but it was workable. So it's now to a nice boil. The cheese is mostly melted. And I want it a little thicker than that. As you can see, that's pretty thin yet. I want it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to put in the rest of this cheese. Well, maybe not quite all of it, as I see it really starting to thicken now. And I'm going to bring back the other ingredients now. So I had originally poured 3/4 of a cup of half and half in my measuring cup. I did not use all that, as you can see. So let that boil just for a minute or two. Make sure it's really starting to thicken. And you know what? I only have like this much left, so heck, I'll put it in. I'll just sprinkle it around. Okay, last thing I'm doing tonight, I'm adding up my diced fresh tomatoes. You don't want to add these too early because you don't want them to be mush. Let it go for just a minute or two. And there you guys have it. So super easy skillet. I'm going to put this back up because I want to see you guys. Super easy skillet shrimp with mushrooms, tomatoes, cream sauce over angel hair. And I think I will top it by walking out really quick and grabbing some basil leaves off my plant and just snipping them in there. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and I forgot to set the timer, so my pasta's done. I need to go do that step, but I hope you enjoyed tonight's live, and do put in the comments the questions I asked about what can you just throw together too. Thanks everybody, talk to you soon.